those of you who don't know, Riley Knoxx is the world's #1 Beyonce impersonator. She's an actor. She's an actress. She's an activist. She's a lot of things. And I'd like to say she's a fashion designer as well. For those of you who don't know, she's a makeup artist. She's a lot of things. And it gives me great joy and great pleasure to have you on the show tonight. So it means a lot, man. I was saying on Instagram that, you know, from selling out shows to, you know, meeting like the queen herself and you know, working with Taylor Swift and that sort of thing. And having time for us, like, it really means a lot. So I just want to say once again, I'm really appreciative of this time. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Listen, we're going to get right into it. First of all, like, how has the journey been so far for you? Like 20 years in the game now. And
yeah, this past summer, I celebrated 20 years being an entertainer. Of course, 20 years ago, when I first started, it was not what it is today, but it is, I'm so grateful. And, you know, I feel proud that I put in so much work.
Yeah.
And, you know, you know, I will say this, it was never my goal to be known for what I do. It never occurred to me that I could be. Yeah. But it was more about the art itself.
But I wanted to ask you, was this something that you always saw yourself doing?
No.
Wow.
Not at all, especially not on this level. I will say, when I was a kid, I did want to be an entertainer. I didn't know how that was going to happen. It never occurred to me that it would be for impersonating the biggest pop star of our time.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said, it was never the goal to be famous or known for this because it wasn't something that I could conceive of. And as a kid, I wasn't allowed to dream this big, you know. Being a transgender woman, I was not allowed to, you know, society didn't allow me to, you know, things weren't as progressive as they are right now. So I wasn't allowed to dream as big. There was no template for it. So luckily things have changed, and, you know, things are a lot better. Yeah. So I definitely am grateful for what it's become, but I never, not in my wildest dreams. People often ask me that. They'll say, what is it like living your dream? And I'm like, this was not my dream. Like, I wish I could have dreamed this. You know, the great thing is now that I've done it and other people have done it, then, you know, some other little kid who's trans doesn't have to, now they can dream this big. So, yeah.
That's crazy. Talk to us about how exactly did you get into this? How exactly did it start? Because you said you never saw yourself. Was it like you pushed into it? Was it accidental? Like,
literally was pushed out onto a stage. I was pushed out onto a stage. I was very young. I wasn't even old enough to get into the clubs, but they snuck me into the clubs. And they said to me, like, you know, bring a wig and a dress, like, you want to come, you know, whatever. Beyonce wasn't a solo artist at the time. So my first song I ever did was What About by Janet Jackson. That was so crazy, so intense. Yeah. And I just transformed when I went out on stage. It was amazing. I was bit by that bug and I was like, I want to do it again. I want to feel that again. And I still feel that every time I go on stage now.
Yeah. That's amazing. You know, you talked about being transgender, and I wanted you to take us back to that process for you and how it was growing up, because you've come a mighty long way. And not only that, you've been really a source of inspiration to a lot of young people as well. And I want you to touch on that because it wasn't always easy for you, even. So I want you to take us back to what that was like for you and what it's been so far. Even you being an activist now, even in the process.
Yeah, it was not easy. It was a long road. I won't say I've had it as hard as some people have had it, but you know, I had a struggle. I had two struggles. I had a struggle within myself, and then the struggle with the world and people around me, and, you know, family members, and coming out at a time when it was not popular, when it was very taboo. It was something that was very, like, you know, very hush hush and secretive, and being, you know, existing in a time when I had to keep it a secret sometimes in certain spaces. And luckily things have progressed, like I said earlier. But the biggest struggle I had was within myself, you know, being able to be confident and to be be myself against all odds. You know, honestly, just loving myself enough to not care what people were going to think, whether it was somebody that I was dating or just the rest of the world, and being able to walk down the street. The wonderful thing is I know that I stand on the shoulders of giants. Like there are women who, I say this all the time, that literally fought in the street so that I could be able to walk down the street and not be bothered. And so I'm so grateful that I live in a time now that I've kind of seen it come full circle, where it's been, you know, a time when it was very taboo. And then over the years, and me, after, you know, I'm 16 years into my journey, seeing how much it's progressed, and now we have representation on TV and in movies and mainstream and in pop music. So it's really something that I'm very proud of now. And I still remember all those things that I had to go through, and I never forget it. I carry it with me every day and every opportunity that I get, you know, whether it be the NBA, pushing doors open for girls so that it will be easy for the girl coming after me, because someone did that for me.
Yeah. Was your family always receptive, or were they always welcoming and encouraging in the process?
No, but they came around and they saw how happy I became, and they started to understand. Most of it was basically, you know, their love for me and fearing what would happen, you know, to me, and also just not really understanding it. And now they, you know, even if they don't understand every single part of it, they're definitely a lot more accepting. And, you know, like I said, because the world has changed, but also I've had to teach them things. And they've been open and willing to learn and make the necessary adjustments. So we're good now.
You know, the amazing thing about it is I talk about you being a Beyonce impersonator, and it's like what's so fascinating is a lot of times you see people do this on social media, and it's like, you know, the comedic aspect of it, they just do it for IG, but you're like 100% into this whole process. I mean, I was watching the remake of her 2017 Grammy performance, and when the one that she was pregnant, and I was like, this is crazy. I mean, the whole costume, everything, like you are all the way in with this thing, and I found out recently that you actually make everything that you wear, like you make the costumes. That's how. I mean.
You cannot see right now because of the angle, and thank God, because it's a mess in here. But my sewing machine, and there's fabric everywhere. I make all the costumes I wear on stage, and for my dancers also. And so for my last concert, we changed 6 times. So there was a total of like over 40 or 50 costumes that I worked on before. And it's just me working on them. I have no assistant or anybody, and I just get in the zone. And it started off as a necessity, because obviously now with what I do, I could have someone make me clothes. I don't trust someone to make me clothes because I'm so anal about it, and I know my body and what I like. And I was an artist before I ever was a performer. And so my background was always in creating things, painting, drawing, sewing, whatever, making things, sculpting. And so I started making clothes out of necessity. I made a lot of ugly things, and then just learned over the years, and it got better and better. And people who've been following me for a while, I'm sure you guys have seen that the costumes got better and better. And then I started replicating things that Beyonce did. And so now I have a whole closet full of clothes. I shared it on my YouTube channel, a closet tour of, you know, all these replicas and costumes that I've made. But it's intense. It causes me to have to work a little bit harder, because most artists are just in rehearsals and then they go out on stage and do their thing. Me, you know, it's all me. The whole concept, all the costumes. I spend so much time, and I put my heart and my soul into it. I love doing it. I do. It is a lot of work. But at the end of the day, I know that my show's going to go well, or it's going to look great because, you know, because of that. But yeah, I sew all the costumes. A lot of people, I think people know it by now, but for people that may not, or may have just found me, I make every single thing I wear on stage.
Now let me ask you this, because someone was talking to me about it too, about delegating, because you're growing, and I know that you're going to continue to grow and be better and just be this amazing person that you are, and selling out shows continuously. Do you see yourself in the future, like, delegating, like having someone take charge and trust someone at all? Because
As far as costumes, no. I just don't. I'm quick when it comes to making things because I have over 20 years. I've made clothes for myself for 20 years.
yeah,
And I make the clothes that I wear on a, just out in a daily basis, but the clothes that I wear on stage, yes. That is quick for me. It's easier for me. It's fun for me. I can conceptualize it. I'm very detail oriented, so it's very hard. Even trying to train someone, I've tried that before. It doesn't really work out so much. Um, I do delegate other parts of my show and other parts of my career to other people. I have a team of people who take very good care of me, managers, publicists, and lighting and backstage help and all of that. And of course, I have my dance captains and co-dance captains. So there's people that I've delegated to taking care of other parts of the show, but the look of the show. See, here's the thing, Lysious. If my show messes up,
yeah,
and something goes wrong or something's not great, it doesn't matter who did it.
right.
They're always going to say, oh, I went to Riley's show and it was trash. This happened, this went wrong. And it always comes back to me. I know that if I do it, I'm going to do it with the utmost care because it is my heart, it is my baby. This is mine. So I want to be able, if something goes wrong on that show, it was because, especially with the look of the show. And I'm not someone who, it's in my head what I want to see on the stage, and no one can get in my head and tell me what, no one can tell me what my show is going to be or how it's going to be. I design every single thing to the overall look of the show, how I want the videos and everything. I have directors and stuff, but I tell them my vision. And then even just what songs go in what order. My last concert, we did over 30 songs. It was an hour and 47 minutes. And so I have to tell a story with the songs. And so the same way you see documentaries or behind the scenes where people are sitting down with their engineer and doing the set, I do the same thing. I sit down with my engineer, sit down with the music, and we go through and we figure out what parts of the songs we're going to do, how much of the song, when I'm going to leave the stage, what I'm going to do. Like every single thing it takes months to put this together. And then by the time I get on stage, I don't have the anxiety of like, oh my God, I hope it goes great, because I know that I put the work in before. And also that, we are so well rehearsed that by the time I get on stage, I don't have to think about it, which means I can now do other things like play to the audience, reach out and touch somebody's hand and not worry about, and so I've always got my cues in my head. So.
You channeled the spirit of Beyonce herself. I could see all of that in there because I remember watching a documentary, she was saying that sometimes she doesn't even eat or use the bathroom until and it's like, and the thing about it is everyone else around her knows it. So it's like, you might be hungry, you're on the team, and you starving, but you're like, she's not eating, so I'm not going to eat. I'm going to wait till, and it's like she feels like because everyone looks to her, like she has to be on point every time because she leads the show. She leads. Like,
she looks tired, then everyone else thinks it's okay to just be tired, and they get tired too. Yeah, and you know what? My days when I'm preparing, leading up to a show, I have, I'm working on costumes, and then I go and I work out for 2 hours. And then I come back and work on costumes, and then I go into rehearsals for 2 hours, and then it's back. It's like an ongoing thing. And then I'm sleeping at night, but then I'm barely sleeping because I'm thinking about all the other things, like, ooh, I came up with this idea, or I got to do this, and this is going to be great. And what if I do that? That kind of thing. When I'm preparing for a concert, it is like preparing for the Super Bowl. It is really like game. It is. I'm just all in it, and I become like I rehearse. I'm training for it like an athlete. Wow. But I definitely believe that you receive in direct proportion to what you give.
Yeah.
If you put into the show, that's what you get out of the show. So if I didn't put all that work into that show, if I didn't do all that stuff behind the scenes, the show wouldn't look the way that it does. And it's really a lot of pressure. Because like I said, I impersonate the biggest pop star of our time, and I replicate her stuff, verbatim. So that would really be bad if I not put in the work. So yeah.
I see people comment and bet on yourself says your dancers also speak highly of you, and somebody else says that she saw you at Nelly's on her birthday. But you were just amazing. I see a lot of you guys join in and commenting from time to time. As you say things, I'm going to read it out. But
yeah, dancers are, they are the, you know, they are the heartbeat of the show. They are the show. Without them, I don't have a show. I can't just do it by myself. And they are called the daughters, because they call me mother. Not old enough to be, I say this all the time. I say this all the time. I'm not old enough to be their mother, but they call me mother. And I love them so much. They are everything. And they are very patient with me, you know, because, you know, sometimes it's hard for me to get some of the choreography, and we rehearse until we get it. So
let me ask you this. But I'm not going to ask you what's your favorite song to perform, because I know that you probably hear that a lot. But what I do want to ask is, what's the hardest song that you've ever had to perform of hers? Like from the set and everything, it was just most for you.
Yeah. The hardest song is probably Everybody Mad, that broke down from Coachella. I put it in my show because, I mean, how could I do the show without it? Right. But I really didn't want to do it. I really didn't, because it was so hard for me to get, and it was so iconic because it became a challenge that everyone was doing on TikToks, and people were, you know, there was a challenge going around on Instagram where everyone was doing this dance, and people were mastering it and doing so amazingly. Yeah. And it just so many parts to it that I just could not get, and I really didn't want to do it. And I will tell you, the first concert I messed up bad. Oh my God. I did. And then the second concert, I got it. I did it better. By the third time I did it great. But then the lighting guy messed up, and we were partially in the dark. We were in blue lights, and I was like, damn it! Oh my God, I was so mad. But by the fourth time, let me tell you, and I was like, this is the one that's going on YouTube, because it was so good. I was so happy. I felt so accomplished, but it was very hard. I hate performing that. I love the look of it, but it's just, but when, this is the thing, it's like, I think 7 songs into the show, when I do that song, I go, in my head, I'm like, okay, now the rest of the show's a breeze. Now I can do the rest of the 30 songs, you know, real easy.
I want you to talk about what it was like when you first met the queen herself, when you, for the first time. What was that like? And she gave her blessings. She knew about it.
Yeah. Well, you know, the first time was not, she didn't know who I was then. The first time was with Destiny's Child. Right. And it was the second coming of Destiny's Child. So it was still the 4 of them, but it was Farrah and Michelle. Yeah. Who I met her then. And I wasn't as known for doing Beyonce then. And then I met a lot of the people that worked for her back in MySpace days. Right. And we used to like corresponding here and there. Ashley Everett, who is her lead background dancer, her dance captain. And then also BB McGill, who was the leader of her band, the Sugar Mama at the time. And then Ty Hunter and I became friendly, and he started showing her videos of me performing, and she would send feedback like, oh, you look beautiful and all that kind of stuff. And the second time was backstage at a concert of hers, and I went dressed as Beyonce. I've learned not to ever do that again, because it's so much attention and so many people want to stop and take pictures and stuff, and you just want to enjoy the show, and it just was not whatever. The third time I've never talked about publicly, but it was great, and she was amazing, and I love having the blessing of her. I love that she knows what I do and loves what I do, because, you know, some people could, I mean, you get either way with it. You never know. But I'm happy that she approves. She approves. And the thing is, I'm not trying to take her place, obviously. No one can.
As long as you get her blessings, it means that you're doing something right. You've made it. You know what I mean? You made it.
You never feel that. I don't ever think that way, because I feel like if I get in my head and start thinking that way, then I become too comfortable and I get a big head, and then I don't, you know.
Something else that you do is you act as well, and a lot of.
I'm really excited about it. Next year I have a really great movie coming out. It'll be in theaters, God willing. The director said he's not putting it out until he can put it in the theaters. I play a transgender supermodel who is a victim of domestic violence and ends up going to prison. And we filmed in a real prison.
You were talking about this project that you worked on recently. How exciting was that?
Yeah, it was exciting. Tracy Braxton plays my mom, Tony Braxton's sister, Tracy. Yeah, and I play one of the leads, and I end up going to prison. We filmed in a real prison in Philly. The name of the movie is called Shaw. Yeah. And it's CHAAW, and I'm really excited because I had to go places that I've never been before within myself, and channel some old emotions also. Yeah. And the director was very clear that he did not want to see Beyonce. Yeah. And so I had a little bit of a different look, and so much. I was very excited. I can't wait for you guys to see it, and I have a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I've been waiting to put out too. Yeah.
Well, when is it coming out, you said?
It comes out next year, hopefully. Like I said, the director said he's not putting it out until he can put it out in the theaters. So we will hope that, with the way everything's going with the coronavirus and stuff, that we'll be able to go to theaters again soon next year. But
yeah, somebody said, Ashley says she can't wait to watch it. So I want you to speak to, because you've been in the game a long time, I'm saying 20 years now. You've seen a lot change. You've grown a lot yourself. I want you to speak to a few people right now. I just want you to tie it all together before we let you go. I want you to speak to that young man or woman, whoever it is, who is struggling to find themselves, maybe not necessarily as it relates to, being trans or anything like that, but just in finding themselves and going through that process. And someone who is thinking of, getting into show business, entertainment in any capacity, for what you've done so far, what you've seen. What are some words of wisdom that you can share?
I will say that, like I touched on it a little bit earlier, but if you get into this business to be famous, you will not last long. Yeah. Being famous is very short-lived. Yeah. If that is your goal, you want to be soulful in what you put out there, love what you do, and make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. And you got to do this job just simply because you love it, and everything else will come with it. Like I said, I did it in the beginning because I love it. I do it now because I love it, and because of that, the universe conspired with all of that to make sure that it elevated the more and more, and all the growth that came with it. And you got to be willing to put in the work, because the thing these days is everyone wants everything so quick. And things come quickly because of technology, and everything is so fast, and social media. You can get famous off of a picture really, really super fast. You got to be willing to put in the work that it takes, and not expect that things are just going to come to you, and not expect that you just deserve things simply because of it. Like I said, you receive in direct proportion to what you give. And so as much work as you put into anything that you do, no matter what that is, it may not be impersonating Beyonce, it may be something else, but you got to do it simply because you love it. And people will see that in you. People see that when I'm on stage, that it's not just I'm there to get a paycheck, or just there for the glory of it. I'm there because I love what I do, and it really reflects in that. So that is the single, that is the one piece of advice that I could definitely give you. As far as my transition and everything, it is the single greatest thing I ever did in my life. And it doesn't matter how many awards I ever get. It doesn't matter if I win a Nobel Peace Prize or the Pulitzer. It doesn't matter what I do in my life. Yeah. The single greatest thing I ever did was transitioning, because it gave me so much. It gave me my happiness, and it opened so many more doors, and it made, what I do on stage so much better. Honestly, it did. What I produce now on stage, as opposed to what I did even 5 years ago or 15 years ago, it keeps getting better and better because of living in my truth. Absolutely. And I encourage everyone to live in their truth, no matter what that truth is. Yeah, that truth. Thank you so much. Ashley says about the movie, when are we going to see like a trailer or something like that? I have no clue. We filmed the movie, and we wrapped up. Well, I wrapped in February. and then things kept getting pushed back because of COVID. So
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. They do have a Instagram page that you can go to. The Shaw, it's called Shaw. The movie is CHAAW,
Okay.
and it's an acronym for something that I can't tell you what it is just yet. But yeah, I mean, I will put it on my page whenever it is time for it to come out. I'll definitely let you guys know.
Yeah, I heard it. It's gonna be on her page. Yo, very quickly, Taylor Swift. How did that happen? I just want you to touch on that.
I know, right? She found me on Instagram, and on the internet. She basically was looking for a Beyonce impersonator. She Googled, found me, researched me, read articles, and not her people. She herself did. And
Wow.
when I did meet her, she said to me, she was like, "Thanks for sharing your story." I'm like, "You know my story?" She's like, "Yeah. I researched. This is my thing. I researched you. I found you." And I'm like, "Wow, this is amazing." And then we worked together on her video, and then I ended up doing opening the MTV Video Music Awards with her, and we ended up becoming friends. And so we text and talk all the time. So she is absolutely amazing. Winning the award was amazing with her. I never thought I'd have an MTV Video Music Award ever. And it's just great. She's an amazing person.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from being talented, she's amazing. But working with her was great. Being her friend is amazing also.
Man, that's crazy. Listen, the night that you guys had that party was just amazing. I was watching on YouTube. I'm like, this is crazy. When I saw it, I was so excited because you're a tourist as well. Because when we met, I just felt like it was just genuine love from the very beginning. You know what I mean? And I'm like, Riley has been a friend, and I just have to have her on the show. And I really just want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your crazy schedule to be on the show. It means a lot to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Lysious. I really, 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 really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Man, a lot of y'all, I thought last week was the most views we had. This is the most views we have. I'm seeing a lot of you guys checking in, the comments, and the love is just going up the charts. And I just want to say thank you guys so much. This is our 4th episode, and you guys have rocked with us this far. Thank you, Riley. Thank you, everyone, that tuned in. Our next guest, so just hang tight. In a few minutes, he's going to be joining the show. But thank you once again. Appreciate you.
Thank you, darling. See you soon.